key question is there a space available where this could be built?
Well, you know, that is where it's going to be very complicated. As you know, the mall is
Can only take so much.
Only takes so much space. And so the question that, of course, the Commission will be addressing is exactly what are our options if we were to pick a location either on the mall or at least within a block of the mall that's close enough to be considered on the mall area. So those are some things that the Commission is going to be looking at, and we're going to be submitting our report this September, 1 year ahead of schedule, if I might add. That will really lay out not only what kind of museum we think that can be built, but also how much we think it's going to cost. What are some of the collections that we think we may consider including, and what's going to be the public-private partnership, because this is going to be the single largest Latino legacy project in U.S. history. There's never been a project of this magnitude before, strictly for the purpose of Latino history and culture. It's never happened before. So we want to make sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's. And I believe that when the report is submitted, I think that everyone's going to be very impressed.
Based on what you've heard from the public and from your fellow commissioners,
yes,
what would be an exhibit in this museum? Is it a history museum? Is it an art museum? Is it both? Is it a little bit of the culture, everything that represents the food, everything that represents the Latino culture?
You know, the answer is all of the above.
Okay.
I can tell you that going around the country, we have heard everything from culinary history, because you know Latinos, we love our arroz con pollo.
Yes, sir.
And of course, me Dominican, I love my mofongo. So you know, but maybe there might be an exhibit on the history of the mofongo, for example. I'm just talking, to give an example. But then you might have you might have other visual arts. You might have historical artifacts that have been collected, that we've had going back hundreds of years. We may even have performing arts, so that we were able to showcase, the performing arts
Would there be
culture.
trades with other museums? Like, for example, you said you're going to Puerto Rico.
Yes.
I'm sure that there's several, historical institutions, museums in Puerto Rico that might
Yes.
want to at least let us borrow for a while an exhibit from San Juan, from El Viejo San Juan.
Yes.
Is that what's going on?
Well, what will happen is that, and this is actually, I think, one of the beauties of this, is that we have done this in collaboration with all the major museums in the country. Here in New York, of course, we've been working very closely with El Museo del Barrio.
Yeah.
In Chicago, the National Museum of Mexican Art. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, there's a National Hispanic Cultural Center.
So there won't be a shortage of stuff to put on display.
There won't be a shortage. The good news is that we're going to be working with all these museums to not only help us with collections, but also to create a partnership, because we know that not everyone will be able to go to Washington, D.C. to come to the museum, but we want to be sure that there's an education component that allows us to build that collaboration, because we also want to make sure that those museums are also strengthened, because it's important to have a Museo del Barrio here in New York and a National Hispanic Cultural Center in New Mexico and a National Museum of Mexican Art. And
so the Museo del Barrio might send you an exhibit, and you in Washington or your museum in Washington would send El Museo an exhibit.
That could be an example of that, and so that may be one of the things that we could consider exploring, because what we want to make sure is that this is a win-win for all the Latino museums, and ultimately a win-win for the Latino community when going into a museum and seeing the history, because in the end, we want the public to know that this is an American story. The Latino story is an American story. We didn't just come 50 years ago. We've been here from the very, very beginning.
We're going to talk about that, Sid.
Yes.
Let's take a break, because I do want to show our audience that you have a website already.
Yes.
And we're going to give them the name of the website in a little bit. But right now, what I want to do is show the video that's already on the website. Let's watch this.
Latinos are an important part of the history and culture of the United States. The Latinos have been present on the North American continent for more than 500 years. The influence of Latinos is spread throughout the entire country and evident in every facet of our daily life. All people of the United States contribute to the American identity. The illumination of the Latino story in America is a recognition not only of a culture that represents one of our country's national assets, but of the complete and compelling history of America. For the benefit of all the cultures that make up the American identity, a national effort is underway to study the creation of a National Museum of the American Latino in Washington, D.C. A museum that, on a national scale, will provide a focus on popular, historic, and contemporary Latino contributions and creative expressions produced and originated in the United States and its territories. In 2008, supported by both Democrats and Republicans, former President George W. Bush signed into law the establishment of a special commission to study the potential creation of a National Museum of the American Latino and to create a report to Congress on this museum's merits. This law is being implemented by President Barack Obama. On behalf of President Obama, Secretary of Department of Interior Ken Salazar is shepherding the commission. The President and bipartisan congressional leaders selected 23 members of the commission. Commission members are representatives from leading Latino communities who all share a deep commitment to their congressional task. Together, the commissioners provide a broad perspective of the Latino experience in the United States. The commission is responsible for providing a report to Congress on the viability of the museum, incorporating the valuable feedback, opinions, ideas, and sentiments of the Latino community and general public collected at forums across the country, so that a vital part of our nation's heritage can be preserved and shared for the benefit of all those interested in the richness of the American experience. Today, and until June 1st, 2010, the Commission is seeking your input on the proposed museum's development and design, on how you think such a museum can advance Latino art, life, history, and culture, and your thoughts about this possible museum and its setting in our nation's capital, its potential contributions, its position among our nation's treasury of museums, and its place in our great nation. This forum is about a National Museum of the American Latino, for the enjoyment and benefit of all Americans. This forum is about us. We appreciate your participation by June 1st, 2010. Share your views here today, online at AmericanLatinoMuseum.gov or through our Facebook and Twitter accounts. On behalf of the National Museum of the American Latino Commission, I'm Eva Longoria Parker. Thank you.